Welcome to Tbcs. I'm Tanfir. Here I'm here for explaining histogram. Histogram, histogram has three properties. This is frequency density, not given. This is class width. Class mean how the class could be defined. Age, time, these are class. And width mean the distance, the way, the width mean the question of breadth, right? And this breadth is here. So class width always would be exposed at the down, vertical, horizontal side of the histogram. And frequency data, this is class width, downside, frequency data always in vertical side. And frequency, the area of the histogram. Okay, so you were watching that as frequency 20 it is given and the class width 0 to 10, 10 is given. So for getting this 28 has to be divided by 10, 2.8. So from here you are watching 2.8, this is 1, this is 2 and this is 2.8, right? So these has to be drawn. And now this is the histogram. And in this histogram you are watching, this is the class width and this is the frequency density. In the second phase, you are watching the frequency is 40, right? 40. And class width 10 to 20, class width is 10. So 40 divided by 10, the result is 4. 4 means frequency density. And as I told that frequency density means this line, so 4 has to be taken. So these has to be drawn. From this is the histogram. So the two frequency has been drawn. How many frequency? This frequency has been drawn taking help of frequency density and class width. In many mathematics, class width given. So in your brain, when the class width will be given and frequency will be given, in your brain you need to capture, frequency and class width given. So for getting the frequency density, these and these has to be divided. In many mathematics, the frequency density will be given. Okay, frequency density will be given. So for drawing because without getting these two, frequency density and class width, you cannot draw the frequency. Because for frequency is a place where the length and breadth, this is breadth and this is height or length, both are needed, right? For drawing a frequency, this class width and this frequency density, these two data is needed. So it is your cleverly. If the class width will be given, frequency density has to be found from this division. For getting frequency density, these and these has to be divided. At the same time, for getting if the frequency density is given, these and these has to be divided for getting the class width. At any cost, this is your duty for getting this line and that line. And getting these two line, you try to get the frequency. Okay? So in short, this is the histogram. Histogram is not exactly like the bar chart. Because in bar chart simply all lines are like this. But in histogram, that is many times the width is bigger but in bar chart the width is always same, but in histogram the width differs. Anyway, for understanding the histogram, the three properties, the three elements have to be captured. You need to, for your understanding, this pyramid has been drawn. This is the pyramid where frequency, for getting frequency, what is the formula? You have to multiply frequency density and class width. For getting the frequency, so if you want to get this 28, this 10 and 2.8, you know, this 10 is the downside and 2.8 is this. If you multiply this 10 and 2.8, you get 28. So for getting the frequency, this part and that part has to be multiplied. For getting this on, frequency has to be divided by the class width. For getting the class width, this part has to be divided by frequency density. This is my duty, repeating the same matter again and again for your understanding. Again I am telling, this is frequency, right? So frequency is here. Many times this line would be given. So as you know that, there are three elements, there are three properties. This is the magical matter. If you want to get this on, this and this has to be multiplied. Okay? Many times only class width is given, I mean downside on the horizontal one is given. No problem. But the mathematician, the exam authority, they will provide minimum the two. There are three elements, right? So if this missing, this and this has to be multiplied. If this missing, this and this has to be divided. If this missing, this and this has to be divided. So reaching in exam hall, you never feel any tension. You try to understand that which two element is given. If this class width is given, you need to memorize. You need to capture in your brain that in histogram always the class width is downside and frequency density is the vertical side. Please try to memorize. In histogram always the class width is downside and frequency density is the upside. So you reaching an exam hall, you always try to understand. Okay, but it's true that in the, what is this called? In this picture, in this data, perhaps they never provide the frequency density. They always try to give the class width, any name, age, time, whatever the matter, you need to understand this is the class width. In histogram, always this information is class width. This information is always frequency. So if you understand this class width and frequency density, for getting frequency density, you have no tension. You divide the frequency and class width. So if you divide the frequency and class width, automatically you will get the frequency density, and frequency density means vertical side. So you will cut from the frequency density, you try to draw. So it is you in reaching in exam hall, never become confused. Try to concentrate what is given, what are, that's why either in physics or mathematics, I always ask help in this pyramid. This is very wise work. Entering exam hall, you try to always get the pyramid. Pyramid is the very authentic mechanism. Pyramid mean the three machine system. Because you know that definitely there is frequency, there is frequency density, there is class width. Never become confused. This is the, I don't know why the mathematics is given like this. They many times tell it time, they many times tell it age, many times, but in the mathematics there is written as class width. But at the time of explaining, they can tell this is the class width. No. They tell this is the information. But in mathematics, this is written class width. So the student become confused. So I don't know why. So class width, you need to capture in your brain, this is the class width. And this is the frequency. And this is the frequency density. You need to memorize this is frequency, this is class width. I mean downside on is the class width. This one is the frequency density. So for getting the frequency density, I mean area, these and these has to be multiplied. At the same time, for getting the frequency density, these and these has to be divided. Again, for getting the class width means these on or these on. For getting the class width, these and these has to be divided. So you understand, reaching in exam hall, try to make this map. Frequency is equal to frequency density into class width. Then you decide which one given, which one is missing. Thank you very much.